Special edition cars aren't always that special these days. A few badges, some fancy body kit, maybe a tad bit of stitching rework on the interior, and off they go. A great marketing exercise. Manufacturers make this a big business these days, and weirdly, people always fall into the claptrap. But maybe not all manufacturers. You see, Subaru have been building their special series of S-line cars since the early 2000s. It all started with the S201 on the GC8 body, but that wasn't truly a crowd favorite. But later on, when they launched the S203 and 204, it quickly became a crowd favorite, a bit one like this, because you see, the S-series line of cars are a step up a notch beyond the WRX STIs, pushing the fundamentals of power and performance up a notch in the Subaru line of cars. But the problem is, it's always been accessibility, because these cars were only made for the Japanese market. Welcome to the Subaru WRX STI S207 NBR. Now, take a look at that NBR name, because that's what makes this thing utterly special. Now, Subaru only made 400 of the S207, and out of that 400, only 200 of them were in the NBR form like this. On the outlook, the S207 comes with a sweet-looking STI front splitter, rear carbon wing, 19-inch BBS wheels to fit those huge 6-spot brakes up front and 4 pots on the rear. Underneath, you'll find stiffening braces front and back to make the chassis stiffer, and STI-tuned Bilstein suspensions to make the ride something else. What I do love and really appreciate though are these Recaro Sportsters and Alcantara steering wheel that makes the experience of being inside all the better. Now, as much as we want the best of new tech in our cars, truthfully, a radical change is what we petrolheads love. Yes, we want new tech, and yes, we want some creature comforts here and there, but we still want the car to drive like it does 20 years ago. And this is what Subaru definitely understands, especially with their S-series cars. This is a car for the keen enthusiasts, and they have definitely focused it towards that part. Now, the WRX STI is a funny little thing, because what it really stands for, much of it is pretty old school. That EJ20 under that cool front hood scoop, well, that's from the 1980s, and although there's a lot of these gizmos, buttons that you can touch in the middle of the center console that deals with the differential, well, the philosophy that they've put onto modern WRX STIs, and especially the S-series cars, are pretty much what Subaru learned back in the 90s with WRC. And let's be honest, Subaru is pretty damn proud with the way they've set up this car, because even on their website, and I quote and unquote, a car which enhances the skill of driving. That's a pretty bold statement. Now, while that may be bold, the guys at STI sound like a bunch of enthusiasts rather than a bunch of marketing guys and accounts guys hashing out to build what they think their demographics would like from a driver's car. Because if I'm honest, the way this thing drives really translates to the way their philosophy of what they wanted to build. With the S207, it's pretty damn raw, and every time you put the car 15-20% more speed into a corner, you just builds this confidence that you want behind the wheel of a car, which is pretty much what I would call confidence inspiring. Now, this thing is a pretty sharp damn thing, and it revs all the way to 8,000 RPM. 320 horsepower isn't a lot by today's standard. It's all about the delivery and how the package all ties together with the way that STI wanted to set up the S207. And if I'm honest, it feels like it's got more than enough power, because I'm constantly finding myself more and more confidence to put this thing into a bend, just tighten it up a little bit more, just like that. And it just puts a smile on the face, because it holds the tarmac with ease. And that's something to really truly appreciate about something like this. It's not a small car, let's be honest. It's not a hot hatch, but it hides its size pretty damn well, and that's all to do with, of course, the all-wheel drive system. I love the gearbox. It's not long, it's pretty crisp. The STI shifter isn't bad at all. It gives you that confidence that you really truly want from a car like this, especially on a B road like this where you're just constantly on second and third gear. Now, because this thing revs all the way to 8,000 RPM and it's a turbocharged car, I think that the ratios are quite alright between second and third, but fourth onwards, well, you need to put a little bit more torque into the rev band to really scram more power. But on a B road like this, where you'll be mostly enjoying second and third gear, it's just exactly pretty damn crisp. Now, when we're talking about the grip on this thing, well, it's always something else. I always find myself smiling putting a WRX STI into a bend because, well, it's always so confidence-inspiring being behind the wheel of this thing. You're finding yourself 10-15% more speed into a bend, thinking that the car might not be able to cope onto the tarmac, but, well, it just constantly grips and you're always trying to improve yourself to the next bend. Now, that may not always be a good thing, but in the right mood like we are today on a tight little B road like this, well, that's something to just keep on smiling about and enjoy. It's an utterly brilliant machine as both a driver's car and a collector's toy. It is both special and brilliant to drive all in one package, and because the NBR pack is so limited, it makes me wonder what kind of love this thing will be getting in the years to come. Sometimes the good old dog still knows a trick or two to make a car guy smile on the wheel. This is a definite future classic and an even better driving machine at it.